Thank you very much for everyone joining us today at this joyous occasion of Kiwanis and Bradenton. I'd like to call Pastor Max up to do our invocation.
I get called by the Phantom of the Opera. That's quite an honor. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we adore you for being God, a father to the fatherless, faithful even when we are unfaithful. There is none like you. We confess that we need you every single day of our lives for our wrongdoings. We thank you for calling us in agreement to build a better life and a better Bradenton. There is power in agreement. Your word said that a man standing alone can be attacked and defeated, but two can stand back to back and conquer. Three are even better, for a triple braided cord is not easily broken. We pray that the mission, vision, values of Kiwanis will resonate loud and clear in our mind's eyes. Let every child and every community matter to all of us and empower us to establish, equip, and engage our community. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Pastor. Follow me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountain side, let freedom ring. You may be seated. Thank you all for coming today. We'll let you get back to your fellowship, and we'll start the program shortly. Welcome back. John, do you have a list of people who have joined us today?
I do, Andy, I do. I apologize for the lack of costume. I did not get the memo. All right, we have, when I read your name, please stand so you can be recognized. We have Gary Weinstein and Sharon Lichauer from American Red Cross. Thank you for coming. We have Peter Rusko joining us from the North Manatee Kiwanis Club. We have Reverend Jasper Jackson, guest of Ray Bellamy. Welcome. And we have Max Desir, guest of Jay Ellis. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you all for coming. And if you want to join, please fill the application out with Sharon Barnhorst. Raise your hand. So we'd love to have you a member of our club. Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to call up Judge Ed Nicholas to give us an update and forecast on the Key Leader event.
Good afternoon. I just want to let everybody know that we have a date for our Key Leader weekend next year. It's March 8th through 10th. For those of you that don't know, Key Leader is a weekend sleepaway camp for 8th graders and high school students. Bring in a large and diverse group of kids from all over Manatee County. Give them some character building, some leadership training. It's a super fun weekend. Those of you that participated in this past years know that it was just really, really fun, but also a meaningful event. You know, there's a lot of pressure on kids these days, and this is a great weekend to allow them to get away, set their phones down for a while, meet some new friends, and leave energized and become the leaders in the school and the community that we need. There is an article in the Next Gen magazine if anybody wants a little bit more information. But what I need from you is to start spreading the word. We've got plenty of time. It's not until March 8th and 10th, but I would love a large group this year, all different backgrounds, all different from all different circumstances. So if you're in touch with any kids or kids groups, just let them know that it's upcoming. It's on our website. The registration page is on the website. It's technically $75, but full disclosure, we've never collected any money. It's a great way to build new leaders in our community, and obviously they are much needed. So thanks for help spreading the word.
Thank you, Judge. For community service, I'd like to call up Mac and Christy today.
Good afternoon. I promised Mike I'd be quick. So we have two different events we want to talk about. We have the Salvation Army bell ringing. That's on December 8th, 9th, and 16th. We have 2-hour shifts. So we have from 11 to 1, 1 to 3, or 3 to 5. So be sure to sign up. And I forgot to bring my little prop t-shirt up there. We have Happy Santa Kiwanis t-shirts available for only $5 outside. So you can be in the festivity while you're ringing your bell. We also have, starting on Friday, November 24th, this is benefiting the Boys and Girls Club. We have Christmas tree sales. That's from 12 to 3. And on November 2nd, we have it from 3 to 6. Both of these events, the bell ringing and the tree sales, are at Publix on 39th and Manatee. That's enough. And Mac, come on.
First, to follow up on Judge Nicholas and the Key Leader Weekend, be sure you're here on December the 19th when we have our official business meeting and our youth protection training. That'll be important for anyone who wants to volunteer to help with that Key Leader Weekend. And beyond just the regular youth protection, then there's some other training that needs to go into that before you come out and spend the weekend with them. The other thing I'm up here for, though, is for the Salvation Army Adopted Angel. A lot of you have already picked them up. If you raise your hand if you've already gotten one for me today. All right, thank you. Be sure and see me over there to get a bag so you can bag all that stuff up. For anyone else who would like to get one, be sure and see me before you take a card. They're over there on the table, but I've got to get them checked in and make sure I know who's got them so that I can follow up if they're late in coming in. But they don't have to be brought back until at least December the 12th. So anytime in between now and December the 12th. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mac. Now I'd like to call up Mike Baird to introduce our speaker.
Our phantom president. Good day, everybody. Happy Halloween. We've got a special event going on today. We're going to have some hands-only CPR going on. You can see the toys. Janine, you're playing with your toy over there. That's not a toy. Okay, they are not toys. They are compression devices. So unfortunately, as much as the Red Cross would like to give them away, they are not. They're actually specifically designed. That's what we're going to be using today. So at one point, we thought, after I introduced the speakers with Red Cross, we'll be doing some hands-only CPR training. But Jose will shortly let us know what we're going to be doing with those devices. Right now, Sharon Litchauer, if you'd come on up as board member for the Red Cross of Southwest Florida. And Sharon, I should mention probably that you're sitting right next to a gentleman, Steve, that just recently retired to protect us all for very many years. So stand up and be recognized if you would. Thank you for your service, Steve. That's been great. Sharon, I'll have you please introduce, yourself and the rest of the guys.
I will.
All right?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm Sharon Litchauer. I am with the board of directors with the American Red Cross. I've been on the board for a couple of years now, and I bring a guest with me. He'll finish the other part when I finish doing kind of an overview about what Red Cross is. First off, I want to ask, how many went to the smoke alarm thing at Trailer Estates a couple weeks ago? Great, great. Thank you for doing that. Chris gave me some of the numbers, and it's like, I forgot how many that you ended up doing. It was like 160 some alarms, and I forgot how many homes. And they were, of course, that establishment is 120 plus mobile home area, so there's a lot more to do. So that's where hopefully you'll get to get an opportunity to do that again. So with the American Red Cross, and I've been doing stuff online, so I kind of have to learn how to look at everything here, so it's a little bit challenging. Is it right here? And which one do I do? The forward one?
Usually.
Except when. Okay. Did I do that or did you do that? Okay. All right, so American Red Cross, we cover Central Florida and U.S. Virgin Islands is the region. We're the Southwest Florida chapter, so that's the area that we are working with. The American Red Cross hopes to alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies, and by doing that, they use volunteers and the generosity of donors. So the work that they do, and this slide is a little bit busy, but it talks about disaster relief, which you hear about a lot, life-saving blood. Now, I've been at different seminars in life-saving blood. In Florida, they don't do the blood so much, but they partner with other areas, so that's part of the thing. So every time we've done anything, like at the hurricane conference and stuff, people would come up and say, oh, I donate blood all the time in Michigan or Ohio or Indiana through the Red Cross. In Florida, we partner with some of the other One Bloods and some of the other communities that do that. Training and certification, you're going to get an opportunity for part of the intro to that with training today with our hands-only CPR. And also international services is one of the other many faces. I know they've been in all of the different areas, and I know they're very involved with Israel and all the areas that are involved now. And then also military families. So those are some of the areas that are that the Red Cross has their hands in for everything. Thank you. It's kind of like patting your head and rubbing your tummy. Fundamental principles of the Global Red Cross. This is just kind of shows a little bit of some of the areas and some of the concepts that are kept within the Red Cross areas all the way through. Next. So quick facts, national. The American Red Cross was founded by Clara Barton in May of 1881. And I thought this was interesting. I didn't know this until I got the slide from Chris, that Clara was the first woman ever to be employed by the U.S. government. Good for her. Red Cross is the only federally chartered organization to do what we do and gets no federal funding. Funded by the generosity of the American people. 90% of the workforce is volunteers. 90 cents of every dollar goes to the service of our mission. We respond to emergencies every 8 minutes, or over 60,000 disasters each year. And they have the capability to perform, and I know the bottom slide says about 350,000 people in shelters at one time in order to take care of that. So if we bring it back down to the regional and chapter level, Southwest Florida chapter was established in 1917. It services 5 counties, Manatee, Hardee, Charlotte, DeSoto, and Sarasota. Over 200 chapter volunteers support our chapter at this time. The largest volume of disasters is home fires, and Gary's going to talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. We've never raised enough money locally, enough funds locally, to cover the work that we do in response to the home fires. On a local level, free services are done, as you guys were a part of, the smoke alarm installation and testing. That's a huge event, and people are so love that event every time we've done it. Hands-only CPR training, which you're going to get the opportunity to do today. We also do classes for kindergarten through 12th graders. We do a national recognized classes. Prepare for Pedro is one of them. That's teaching the little kids what to do in the case of a fire. And it's interesting what they can learn and take back to home, to their brothers, to their sisters, to their parents, to their friends and family. And one of the biggest things that we teach them is once you go out, you don't go back in. And it's really interesting to see how people think, how that works in their process. Community preparedness is another area in doing presentations. Homeless veteran services, veteran and military services, family support, home fire recovery services, and then other partnerships and referrals. So how do you get involved with Red Cross? People come to me and ask all the time, especially at the time of disasters. I want to get involved. What can I do? There's a lot of different ways. Ham radio operators is one of the areas that people have been involved with. CDL drivers, because they do have the, I don't even know what it's, the IRV, I guess it's called, that delivers meals and helps to support the shelters, and that one, they've been involved with that. Youth preparedness instructors, as I talked about, we do the fire preparedness, and then there's other classes that we can do for the kids. Disaster action team, and Gary will be talking about that in a few minutes. As a board member, which I'm a part of, veterans advocates, community preparedness education. There's an app that you can download for Red Cross for emergency preparedness, and just help in ways of helping you to be prepared for, especially in our area with hurricanes and that kind of thing. One of the newer areas that we've expanded to, thanks to Hurricane Ian, we've expanded into some areas called mission adaptation, community adaptation, and long-term recovery. Because as you know, things just don't happen and go away the next day. Things continue to hang around for a long time. So as Red Cross has been they're more aware of what's been going on. For instance, after Hurricane Ian, Gary, how many months? 3 months, 6 months that there was people in shelters after Hurricane Ian. I know over in Maui, people are still, because they have no homes. And so those are kind of some of the things that they're looking at is how can Red Cross help to be more available to help to do those kind of things for people after these disasters have occurred. Adapting our mission to meet urgent needs is really a big issue. Next slide, please. And this is just helping to grow disaster networks. Needing to find community programs and what kind of things are out there. Enhancing shelters and helping to expand financial assistance, which is always needed. There's been an exponential increase in billion-dollar disasters, as you can see, since 1980, and this goes through 2022. And as you can see, the disasters continue to, not just one, but multiple, and they continue to add to that billion-dollar cost. So more people are coming to the Red Cross or recognizing the Red Cross to be able to be of assistance. And in 2022, it was the 8th straight year that there was double-digit billion-dollar events. So when you had that many in a 10-year time frame, there's not a lot of time for recovery during that. Today, Red Cross responds to twice as many major disasters as it did 10 years ago. So by the year 2050, that will even be doubled. So in looking at mission adaptation, lower income is looking at the vulnerable populations and how are they more affected by disasters and what can be done for them within our communities. Health, 6 in 10 Americans have a chronic disease. Hunger, 34 million Americans are food, insecure. It was a different word. And housing, 7.3 million gap in affordable housing units in the United States. So those are all not only on the broad base, but on the local base. So we can't do all of this alone. So of course we need partners, just like you guys with Bradenton Kiwanis, how you all came out to help with the fire extinguisher or fire smoke detectors. There's a lot of ways to get involved with Red Cross. So if there's something that you're interested in, let us know. That's certainly one of the areas that we can help in our community to see how we can be of help to people in our community that are in need. And based on that, if you have any questions, let us know afterwards. I'm going to introduce Gary Weinstein, who had the great picture up front. He will talk with you a little bit more about the DAT team. Gary?
Thank you. So to all you guys and ladies that came out to the smoke detector sound the alarm event, Jose and I were there. We thank you very much. It was wildly successful. 70 some households served. It's amazing when you offer people, you say, hey, would you like some smoke detectors? Well, yeah, but I'm not sure. How much does it cost? And like all the Red Cross services, they're provided at no fee, not for the equipment and not for installing them. So it's a great event, and thank you to all of you who participated. Now I'm going to tell you something about something with the Red Cross, the best kept secret of Red Cross. If I asked you, what do you think of when you think of Red Cross, what's the first thing you would say? And during what kind of events? Like Florida? Hurricanes, tornadoes. Those are the most common things that most of us, including me before I became a volunteer, are aware of. I'm going to tell you about a little-known program that's huge, and I'm not going to ask you to do anything. I just want you to be aware of it. It serves the community 24/7. We've got a video. If we could run the 2-minute video. Can we run the 2-minute video?
I'm a member of the disaster action team. We respond to fires, floods, storms, and so forth. And hopefully everything's going to be okay.
Any kind of natural disaster at homes or apartment complexes, we provide aid to the residents who are the clients.
You're there to assess the situation, to find out what the client's needs are, and to see what you can do, and then to see what other members of the team can do.
The duty officer is the first point of contact.
This is Daniel with the Red Cross.
We gather the information for the client, and we then send it to the responders, and the responders then go to help out the client in the start of their recovery.
We receive a call 24/7 and quickly go to the scene of the incident and help the client find them safe lodging for the night, as well as provide them with some resources and get them going towards their own recovery.
You need to have compassion, because we are the first people to talk to these clients from the Red Cross. And a lot of times we set the tone for how their whole experience is going to be.
A DAT responder needs to have empathy. They need to be able to emotionally connect to a client.
I wanted to do something that had meaning and had purpose. Every time I go home after a fire, I know I've made the difference in someone's life.
The rewarding part is just to see that you're actually helping somebody and they appreciate it. That means a lot to me. That's my reward.
It gives me a sense of satisfaction knowing that I'm able to help people in their worst time of need and be able to help them get started on their road to recovery.
There are tears, there are hugs. They are just very grateful. And that gives me the satisfaction that I've been able to help them in their time of need.
We see a lot of things. A lot of it's happy, a lot of it's sad, but sometimes things really touch our hearts.
When we tell people that we're volunteers, there are people that come to us then and say, how can I do this?
I would tell somebody that if they're a compassionate person, if they want to help others, if they want to, in a very quick time frame, within 2 to 3 hours, really make a difference in a person's life at their time of greatest need, it's an opportunity to do just that. So how did I get started in this? Like the rest of you, I knew nothing about the Red Cross other than I gave blood. And when there's a disaster, large-scale disaster, on television, you'll see people deploying, you'll see the Red Cross is present, and so on. I didn't know they did this thing, this other thing, disaster action team, 24/7, 365 days, across the entire country. We respond to a disaster of that type, a household fire, apartment, household, once every 6 minutes somewhere in the country. It's a volunteer-led program funded by the Red Cross, by donations from individuals and businesses throughout the country, and not government funded. We show up 24/7, we provide comfort, we provide blankets, toiletries, some money, some funds on a gift card, a Visa card, that they can use to buy clothes, to get a hotel for a couple nights, so on and so forth. We get them started on that road to recovery. We tell them what to expect from their insurance company, what the next steps are. Because think about it, God forbid any of us in this room suffered a fire, as smart as we are, and maybe we have insurance, you still wouldn't know what to do. When you step out at 2 o'clock in the morning, you don't have your cell phone, you don't have your wallet, what do you do next? So we have volunteers who will show up on scene, sometimes while the fire department's still there, and provide these resources. Help get prescriptions replaced. Remember, if it's the middle of the night and the next day you have to take a prescription and you've lost it in the fire, Red Cross has volunteer nurses who help sort through that. Prescription eyeglasses, we can get those replaced. So we do a variety of things. We work with some local partners. Goodwill is one of our partners, and work with various other agencies to assist our clients in the road to recovery. So with that, any questions about this disaster action team? Go ahead.
Where is the, I guess you said that our local Red Cross serves like 5 counties. Is there one headquarters building at the headquarters, or is there one in every county?
Yes, thank you. So for the 5-county area here, including this county, we're in Sarasota. But I will tell you, half of all the fires and more than half of our volunteers are in this county. So we respond quite a lot up here. We went about 3/4 of a year ago, there was a Carlton Arms fire. I don't know if you remember that, burned an entire dozen apartments. So while the people were waiting to see if they'd be able to get in to the adjoining buildings, we provided food and beverages and so on and so forth. So the question that I'd have if I were you is not how do I join, but the question I'd have is, you know, if my neighbor has a fire or a family member, how do I contact Red Cross? I heard that you come. How do we get you there? So there's 2 ways, very easily. The vast majority of our calls come from the fire department. The fire departments know that if a client is a little out of sorts or needs a place to stay or needs support, they call a special dispatch center. It's a call center for nationwide. However, part 2, the part where you all come in with your friends and neighbors and relatives, if there's ever a fire or their house becomes unlivable due to disaster, could be a car drove through it from the highway by mistake, a tree fell on the house, things of that nature, all you do is call, remember this phone number is very hard, 1-800-RED CROSS. So literally, 800 Red Cross, and you report the fire, and volunteers will be dispatched. So with that, I've given you the Cliff Notes version, the elevator speech, because you have something really important coming up next, which is this hands-only CPR. I don't want to take away time from that. So Sharon, back to you.
Oh, did you get a picture? He got a picture as well.
Oh, thank you. So with that, Jose. Thank you.
All right. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jose Bueno, or Joe Good. Probably easy to remember. That's my joke every time I introduce myself, but literally it's very, very easy to remember. I see some familiar faces that I saw on the 14th when we went out in the community and installed free smoke detectors. I am the preparedness manager for the Central Florida region. I cover 19 counties, 4 beautiful islands in the Caribbean. And today I'm here to teach hands-only CPR. So what is hands-only CPR. What's the difference between regular CPR and hands-only CPR? So this is a Good Samaritan civilian 20-minute refresher that we do for the community. Of course, like Gary said, it's free. It's a free service. And we will utilize these little ambulances to do the compressions. These little guys they have the same resistance as an average human chest. So for you, in order to compress 2 inches, it's going to be the same force that you need to compress a human chest. So that's why we're going to use these guys for the training. I highly recommend that when we do the practice, we do it on the floor. If you are able to do it on the floor, please go ahead and do it on the floor. Otherwise, do it on the table. All right? Typically, patients and people that have cardiac arrest or need CPR, they normally don't fall on tables. So they normally fall on floors. So we highly recommend that we do it on the floor if you can. If you are able to kneel, let's do that. So what is not hands-only CPR? Today we are not going to do respirations or breathe on the little buses. That's for the full CPR training. And like we mentioned before, we do have full CPR training. Those are about between 5 and 6 hours, and you learn CPR, first aid, and AED. So today we're not doing a full CPR where you get a certification. Today is just a presentation where we're going to learn the correct technique. All right? Awesome. So let's go ahead and get started. So hands-only CPR. I want you to remember, if you take anything from today, is 3 C's. The 3 C's are check, call, and care. So again, check, call, and care. And first we're going to check on the person that is on the floor that is having cardiac arrest or is unconscious and probably not breathing. So the first thing that we do is we touch the person. Are you okay? Are you okay? And if we see that there is no response, probably is not breathing, we are going to react, right? The second thing about check will be check the scene for safety. We want to make sure that there is no cars. If you are helping somebody in the middle of 75 because there was a car accident, of course we need to move that person from the middle of 75 to a safe place. If you are, let's say, in an area where there's a lot of traffic or there is current thing that may affect you, may electrocute you, so we want to move that person from perhaps a wet environment, a pool, or to a safe place where we can provide care. So check is 2 parts. The victim and then the scene for safety. We want to make sure that we are safe to provide care. We don't want to be in danger. Then we go the second C. So check, call, and care. So if you are in a room with a lot of people and you want to provide the CPR, you want to assign the task to another person. But something that you don't want to do is say, somebody call 911. We don't want to do that. We know that if we task that mission to somebody, it's best because they know that they need to go and call 911. So instead of say, somebody call 911, we're going to say, you call 911, right? You in the blue shirt, call 911, right? So check, call, and then care. Today we're going to learn or maybe refresh our CPR technique. And this one is 100 compressions per minute until we see the emergency services arrive, when the paramedics arrive, or there's another person that can help us, and there's a specific way to do it. So next slide. Yes, let's watch the video. There was a video before, I think yeah. There we go.
How to perform hands-only CPR. Cardiac emergencies can happen anywhere. Be prepared with a simple technique known as hands-only CPR. You can learn it in minutes, it's easy to remember, and it can help save a life. You will need the willingness to act and a few simple skills. Whenever possible, use disposable gloves when providing emergency care. Step 1. If you see someone suddenly collapse, check the scene for safety and then see if the person responds to you by tapping them on the shoulder and shouting, "Are you okay?" Step 2. Briefly look for breathing. Step 3. If they don't respond, call or send someone to call 911 or the local emergency number right away. Step 4. If the person is not breathing or is gasping, prepare to give chest compressions. Kneel beside them and put the heel of one hand on the center of their chest. Place your other hand over that hand, lacing your fingers together. Position your shoulders directly over your hands, keeping your arms straight and your fingers off the chest. Step 5. Push hard and fast, at least 2 inches, then let the chest rise completely before pressing down again. Don't take your hands off the chest, just your weight. Step 6. Keep going. Do not stop compressions until the person shows an obvious sign of life like breathing. The scene becomes unsafe. An automated external defibrillator or AED is ready, you're too exhausted to continue, or a trained responder takes over. Step 7. Get training and encourage others to do so by taking an American Red Cross health and safety course. Knowing full CPR, chest compressions, and breaths will enable you to help in other emergencies such as drowning and choking. Every household should have at least one person trained in life-saving skills. Did you know? Most people who survive a cardiac emergency are helped by a bystander. To find your local Red Cross chapter, visit redcross.org.
Any questions about the video? Pretty straightforward, right? We're gonna do 100 compressions per minute. If you guys need to remember a song, there's a song that pretty much I think everybody knows. It's Staying Alive, right? From the Bee Gees. So you can use that song. If you are, let's say, between 15 or 20 years young, I will recommend Baby Shark. That's another song that you guys probably remember. I don't know if you play your daughters, your sons, or your grandsons, but that's another song that you can remember. But Staying Alive is a good rhythm. It's 100 compressions per minute. We are going to make sure that we compress. When we utilize our tool, the bottom of the bus should touch the floor. That indicates that you are doing 2 inches compressions. Now, when we do it, we also need to make sure that you let the bus, you release the bus 100%. So you compress and then you release. Compress, release, 100 compressions per minute, right? So it's more than a second per compression. It's more compressions than that. It's also very important, and I'm going to show you why. Compressing can be exhausting if you don't do it right. You want to use your own body weight, right? So like you saw in the video, shoulders on top of the center of the chest, and you do not bend your elbows. Elbows have to be locked. So you gotta do it like this, and it may take you up to 8 to 10 minutes to wait for emergencies to arrive. That's the average time, about 8 minutes here in the state of Florida. So we wanna make sure that we are capable and we are doing it right, so we last at least 8 to 10 minutes. If we do it right, we should be able to last for that long. If we bend our elbows or we do it in an angle, it's gonna be very, very hard, right? So, time to practice.
Question, if there's other people on the scene, what are the rules for swapping out if you get tired?
If we get tired, we can ask another person to continue if they know the technique, right? So we ask, are you guys trained? Yes, I'm trained, so we can swap. Good question. So now we're going to practice. I highly recommend if you can go on the floor, please do it. Otherwise, do it on the table. We're going to do it for 1 minute, and I'm going to give you feedback so you guys learn how to do it. There are some chairs that don't have people, so if you don't have a boss, there are empty chairs here. If you need a boss, raise your hand. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. 1, 2, 3 compressions, 100 per minute. Please remember. All right, I'm gonna go around checking people, doing the compressions. A little faster. You guys are
come on up. All right, hey, Gary, can you come up, please? Come on up. All right, I want to thank all of y'all for saving those buses today. I mean, part of Halloween is making sure that people rise from the dead, and we were able to do that today. So thank you very much, everybody. Be sure to take, they can't take these with them, right? No, the buses stay. Do not take the buses with you. Sorry. I'm sorry. Keep the buses here. But I want to give this golden ruler to you, to the Red Cross, for measure your future success. Thank you very much. Here, a good picture here. All right. And you need Gary, come over here. What are you doing there?
Thank you.
All right. Hey, Sharon. There you are.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
There you go.
Hey, can we get all three of you
Oh,
together?
yeah, Gary, Sharon. Hey, come on, Mike.
All right, here we go. Ready? 2, 1, 2, 3, and 1 more. Thank you.
Awesome.
Why don't we stick around for...
All right, thank you all for coming today. Have a great week. See you next week for a Farm City Week.